Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Victor Ramos, and I serve as the Vice President for University Advancement here at Millersville University. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 166th Annual Commencement. The formal ceremony will begin in a few minutes. In the unlikely event of an emergency, an announcement will be made from the podium to assist in your safe departure from the gymnasium. If you or anyone seated nearby are in need of emergency medical attention during the ceremony, we ask that you move quietly to find an event staff member or the university police. They will direct you to the emergency personnel who are stationed nearby. Out of respect for the graduates and everyone gathered, we ask that all mobile devices be silenced during the ceremony. Graduates, today is a very special time for you, and it is important that you follow our EPIC values with the appropriate decorum and respectful behavior. Please be mindful that everyone here today would like to hear their student's name announced as they receive their diploma cover and are individually recognized. Please hold your applause until after each college dean has concluded, and for the safety of all participants and guests, we ask that everyone remain in your seats until the conclusion of the ceremony. In the interest of continued public safety, congratulatory handshakes will be omitted from today's ceremony. Now please continue to enjoy the video until the ceremony begins, and have a safe and joyous day.
You may be seated. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 166th Annual Commencement at Millersville University. I am Dr. Gail Gasbridge, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. On this special occasion, we honor and confer the undergraduate degrees. Last evening, the university conferred degrees to the doctorate and master's candidates. We also greet our guests attending today's ceremony virtually. Now please stand if you are able for the singing of the national anthem sung by Lindsay Fair, class of 2022.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Thank you, Lindsay. I'm honored to introduce those members of the platform party who will not be introduced later as part of the program, some of whom are seated on the field. Please hold your applause until all have been presented. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is fortunate to have dedicated individuals who serve voluntarily by appointment of the governor. Who serve by appointment by the governor on the Millersville University Council of Trustees. Will the following trustees please rise? Mr. Michael Warfel and Ms. Madison Whitcomb. The following are members of the administration and faculty. Mr. Gilbert Brown, Vice President for Finance and Administration. Dr. James Dell, Associate Provost for Academic Administration and Dean of the College of Graduate Studies and Adult Learning. Dr. Victor DeSantis, Vice President for External Affairs and Chief of Staff. Mr. Joshua Hartranft, Interim Chief Technology and Innovation Officer. Dr. Rachel Finley Bowman, Dean of Student Success and Associate Provost for Academic Support Services. Mr. Thomas Richardson, Interim Vice President for Student Affairs and Enrollment Management. Mr. Victor Ramos, Vice President for Advancement. And Dr. Julie Lombardo, Associate Professor of Wellness and Sports Sciences, and one of our most senior faculty members who is the mace bearer for today's commencement ceremony. In addition, we welcome other distinguished guests and members of the administration, some of whom marched in the procession. Please join me in welcoming these members of the platform party and our guests. It is now my pleasure to invite Dr. Kelly Bana, President of APSCUF and Associate Professor of Psychology, to offer greetings on behalf of the faculty.
Thank you, Dr. Gasparich. And let me just say thank you and congratulations on what we all agree is a very successful first year as Provost of Millersville University. Good afternoon, everybody. It is my great pleasure and privilege to welcome you all today on behalf of the Millersville University faculty and to congratulate all of our graduates on everything you've accomplished in your time with us. I'd like to use my time today to tell you a story. It's about a former student and advisee of mine who I'll call Casey. One semester, Casey showed up to our semi-annual advising meeting looking kind of a mess, clearly upset and on the verge of tears. Turns out that she had just broken up with her boyfriend and she was having a difficult time handling it. We talked about that for a bit. I did some advising. And then when she was leaving my office, she turned around and she said, "I wish I were strong like you. It's so sexy." Like with the fist and everything. And I was like, what? The first thing that went through my mind was, well, that is an interesting choice of words, which I'm going to ignore because that is the only appropriate response at that time. And then I asked her, "What do you mean by that?" And she replied, "Well, you would never be this upset by a breakup. You'd be fine. You'd just get over it." As I heard dozens of my friends from the past 20 years laughing in unison inside of my head. So I said to her, "Oh, really? Okay, well, let me tell you a little story." And I proceeded to tell her about a breakup I'd had in grad school. I won't bore you with all of the details. Tenure doesn't afford me that much more speaking time than I've been allotted. But the long and short of it is that we dated. He lied all the time, like every other time he opened his mouth, which is quite impressive when you think about it. And we broke up. And it nearly broke me. To this day, I cannot explain why that breakup hit me so hard, but I was a total mess. I could not eat. I could not sleep. I was getting out of bed at 3 a.m. to drive to his house to see if his car was in the driveway like it was supposed to be. Narrator, it was not. I was what people in the clinical side of my industry would call crazy. Well, they would not say that because that's not an appropriate term, but I work with rats, so I can say that. I was a crazy person. One day, it got so bad that I started shaking uncontrollably while I was working in my fish lab alone. That's a whole other story. And I just had to get home. So I got in my car, I drove home, I walked into the house and proceeded to collapse face down on the kitchen floor where I spent the next 20 minutes crying into a puddle of my own snot and tears, which was decidedly not sexy. The whole time I was down there, I kept asking myself, what in the hell is the matter with me? By that point in my life, I had been through much worse. My father died when I was 13. My mother committed suicide when I was 17. This breakup was, by all objective measures, nowhere near as bad as any of that. And I knew I was actually much better off not dating a lying liar who lies. But I still could not get up off that floor. That was when I decided that I needed to get some professional help. Now, I had and continue to have better friends than anyone in the world deserves. You should all find some if you don't have any of those yet. They were supportive, they listened to me cry, they tolerated my continued misery, but I needed more help than that. So a few days later, I called a guy, I spent some time in therapy, and between that and the support I had from my friends and family, I figured out how to get through it. I mean, I'm not laying on that kitchen floor anymore. So back to Casey. As I told her this story, she stood there with her eyes wide open and her jaw on the ground like she could not believe what I was telling her. And I told her, being strong doesn't mean that you never get knocked on your ass. It means you know how to get back up when you do. Strength is like courage. Courage is persistence in the face of fear. Now, you may never be afraid. You might not be afraid. And that's okay. But in that case, you're just not afraid. You're not courageous. Similarly, strength is persistence in the face of challenges. If you've never been challenged, that's great. But it doesn't demonstrate that you're a strong person, just that you're lucky. And emotional strength, much like physical strength, takes time to develop. Every hardship you endure, every challenge you face prepares you a little bit more for getting through the next one. But it takes time. It's not something your parents can teach you or that you can learn in a classroom. It requires experience and a lot of self-reflection. Now, I'm not naive enough to think that you were all leading charmed lives before COVID came along. I'm sure some of you had endured quite a bit before the spring of 2020. But COVID has been a once-in-a-century challenge that has been devastating in a way that is new and special to all of us. And while all of us have struggled through the past 2 years, teenagers and emerging adults, which is what we call you, you're not quite adults, you're not kids, you're emerging into adulthood. Those of you who may have entered this crisis with less experience navigating the choppy waters of life have been particularly affected. If you open any social media page, you'll see no fewer than half a dozen headlines that basically amount to, "The kids are not okay." And after a year of being back on campus, I'm here to tell you, the kids are not, in fact, okay. They're anxious, they're depressed, they're unmotivated. Generally beat down is how I would describe it. And how can you blame them? They've been through a lot. Okay, I'm coming around to the inspirational home stretch here, I promise. I'm not going to be a Debbie Downer the whole time. Our students have been through a lot. My students have been through a lot. And I won't bore you with a list of what they've been through because ain't nobody got time for that, but you all know what I'm talking about. And a lot of students, for whatever reason, and many of those reasons are quite valid, had to leave school during that time. But not you. You've all persisted in the face of many, many challenges. There were probably days when it took every last ounce of motivation and energy that you had just to drag yourself out of bed and over to your computer so you could log into Zoom class. And there were probably some days that you couldn't even do that. But somehow, you managed to get yourself off the proverbial kitchen floor and do what you needed to do. It may not have been pretty. It may not have been graceful. There may have been some ugly crying and some snot. It happens. But none of that matters now. What matters is that you are here getting the diploma that you earned. So you're getting a fake diploma, but I'm told the real ones are in the mail, so you should be getting those soon. By virtue of the fact that you are sitting here today, you've demonstrated to others, but most importantly, and listen to me because this is the most important part, you've demonstrated to yourselves that you have what it takes to tackle any problem that life may throw your way. That you were able to do what you had to do to become a college graduate in spite of the fact that the world was falling apart around you. Some of you, the first to do it in your families. And you should take a moment to reflect on that and to be proud of it, to celebrate your extraordinary persistence in the face of extraordinary challenges. Because the world knocked you on your asses, and I hate to be the one to tell you this, it's going to knock you on your asses again. But now you know how to get back up, and more importantly, you know how to get back up. Now, after all of that hard work, you are, to paraphrase maybe my most favorite Harry Potter character, hold on a second, it's in my pocket here somewhere, you are all almost free elves. And like I said to the morning group, I wish I made enough, and I make good money and we get paid well, but not like I could buy every graduate a pair of socks well. So this is just sort of symbolic for you. As you move on from Millersville University, and as you face the challenges that await you, know that you are strong and that you can survive just about anything. And my hope for you is that you also find ways to thrive. You know, the kids may not be okay, but you guys are going to be just fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bana. I would now like to introduce Ms. Liesl Schlott, President of the Millersville University Student Government Association, who will bring greetings to the graduating class and introduce the spokesperson for the Senior Class Gift Campaign.
Thank you, Dr. Gasparich. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you on this momentous occasion in our lives. As a student who transferred in the middle of an academic year, I was worried about making connections in a completely new place, 4 hours away from family and 6 hours away from most of my friends. At the time, it was difficult getting used to a new location and a new structure, but that is just how college is. Most students, when they start, feel the same nervousness and uncertainty. What I appreciate about it now is that I was given a new start to experience what university life was like. And I was given an opportunity to meet the amazing friends and people I've worked with the past 2.5 years. Today we experience collectively a new kind of nervousness and uncertainty. The knowledge that we are beginning a new step in our lives that is so daunting, just stepping into the next 50 years of our lives, no big thing. But even though we are stepping away from this college experience, and there is a fear and excitement of what is next, know that these experiences and the relationships you made along the way live on with you. For myself, the past semester has been filled with juggling. Like many of you, I've been trying to finish strong in both my classes and setting myself up for after college. What helped me come to terms with leaving these formative years behind me was a discussion in my later British literature class with Dr. Emily Baldiz. We read Joy by Zadie Smith, and we talked about what it meant to experience joy and how it differs from pleasure. The things we do for fun can can be replaced easily with other things or activities, but the things that bring us joy are much harder to replace, like our relationships, friendships, and passions. And it comes at a cost when moving away from the things that bring us joy. With that, cherish these memories and these people. We may not speak to them every day after this ceremony, but know they will be here for you. You will have your Millersville family, your friends, mentors, and professors that helped you along the way when you need them. That's why I chose Millersville. I knew no matter what, I would have to be an advocate for myself in life, but it's so much easier to do so when you have good people behind you. I'm taking this joy with me throughout my career and my life after MU, and I hope you will too. Thank you to all the people who have supported me, and thank you to all of you for allowing me to do the best I could as student body president. Class of 2022, we made it. I would now like to welcome Ms. Karina Morales to present the senior class gift.
Thank you, Ms. Schlott. We have a tradition of giving here at Millersville University. Since 1866, each graduating class has promoted a philanthropic spirit by providing students an opportunity to leave their legacy at the university they call home. The graduating class has embraced the philanthropic spirit by giving back to our alma mater through the programs, departments, and teams that we love and which have had a positive impact on our Millersville experiences. In appreciation and recognition of our educational experience at Millersville University, we hereby present our senior class gift. Graduates, you can be proud that our class will be remembered for our pride and generosity. I am now honored to introduce Dr. Daniel Wuba, Millersville University's 15th president.
Thank you to each member of the Senior Class Gift Committee and all members of the class who made this gift possible. Thank you very much. Now I want to extend a welcome to our graduating class, family members, friends, and our faculty on this special occasion. But before I begin my remarks, I would like to take a moment to remember all the people we have lost this academic year. Thank you. Class of 2022, you made it. Or I should say we made it, because I came with you in 2018, and after 4 years, you are graduating. Congratulations in advance. But just as, to clarify, I'm not leaving with you. You graduate, you go out to the world, and you change the world, and we'll be keeping, the home courts warm for you. But today is a milestone in your life that demonstrates that you have accomplished something precious. Why do I say that? Let me share some data with you. According to the National Center for Educational Statistics, approximately 90% of Americans above the age of 25 have a high school diploma. The official 4-year graduation rate for students attending public universities like Millersville is 34%, and the 6-year graduation rate is 58%. That means that 4 out of every 10 students who start at public universities like Millersville University never graduate. So only 6 graduate, and you are one of those 6. You should be proud of that. That basically is one of the reasons why I say today is a special day. Because of every 10 of you who came in 2018, only 6 are graduating. These data support the need for us to really take today as a special day. But before we do that, let us recognize those who have made it possible for you to get to this point in your lives. Let's first thank your parents, your guardians, families, and friends for the role they played in getting you here. From the time you arrived on this campus to this moment, they have supported and encouraged you. Let's give them and those who are watching online a big round of applause. Second, I want to thank our faculty members who walked beside you, our graduates, on your educational journey. They have guided and assisted you in the acquisition of a holistic education that is firmly rooted in the liberal arts and sciences, as well as various professions. I especially recognize our faculty members' dedication to you, our students, during this past 2 years because of the pandemic. Faculty, kindly stand to be recognized. For our students, you arrived on this campus with a mixture of emotions, such as excitement, determination, and perhaps some anticipation. I remember September 2018 when most of you were moving into the residence halls. I was there with some of my staff members to help move your things in there. Some of you were very excited. Some of you knew what you were going to do. But others were saying, okay, let me try, let me see what this college thing is about. Our faculty members welcomed you. They guided you, they challenged you, and they prepared you for life after today. Now, as you depart the comforts of being a student at Millersville University, it is likely that some of you are anxious about the future and what it holds for you. But don't worry, because I am confident that the education that you received at Millersville University has given you the skills and the competencies that you need to succeed in all your future endeavors. During this pandemic, we've witnessed social injustice, violence, protests, and armed conflict between nations. There were occasions when we felt disengaged from our neighbors as we tried to make sense of evolving issues and policies. But, as the saying goes, the true character of a person comes into play during challenging times. As a student, you have exhibited this high level of tolerance and grace that demonstrates what the late Maya Angelou said, quote, "I can be changed by what happens to me, but I will refuse to be reduced by it," end quote. The circumstances may change you, but it shouldn't reduce you. Although the pandemic, currently seems to be disappearing, your character is what has enabled you to get to this moment, because you didn't allow the pandemic to reduce you. And that is an example of the grit and the tolerance that you have. One of the reasons why we are all here today is our core values as an institution of exploration, professionalism, public mission, integrity, inclusion, and compassion, the EPIC values. For us on this campus, it collectively serves as the compass for our decision-making and our operations. Our EPIC values are not just words on this campus. We live by them. They are our lived experiences, and they are manifested in what have brought you here today. As explorers, our students have opened their minds to new ideas and perspectives, and they've courageously pushed themselves beyond their comfort zone. As professionals, you as students have augmented your coursework with experiential opportunities to further hone your skills and broaden your horizons. Focused on public mission, you raised awareness of social injustices while supporting each other and the broader community in acts of charity and kindness. Acting with integrity, you found the strength to prioritize learning by completing your assignments and examinations. Remember March 2020, when we told you you were going home for spring break, but you never came back the rest of the semester? Yes, that was integrity. We basically flipped the switch and you were studying online, and you had to get up and do the work virtually. You did it. Okay? That is one of our core values. Valuing inclusion, the pandemic provided opportunities to meet individuals from diverse backgrounds, and through that, you have become a global citizen. You've shown compassion from your earliest days on this campus. I know some of you may remember in the fall of 2018, when we did the Day of Caring, and we were wearing our orange, United Way shirts. You remember the t-shirts? Okay. Let me tell you, I was very impressed that morning. Saturday morning, students normally wake up around 9, 10 o'clock. At least my daughters and my nieces and nephews did that. They wake up at 10 o'clock. But that morning at 7 o'clock, we had students line up, ready to go into the community to help other people. That is compassion. And that is what you continue to do as we went through other crises during your time here. Today is a memorable day for you, your family, and your friends who are here with us. And with so much going on, it is likely that you'll forget most of what I'm saying. But I ask you to just keep these 3 thoughts in your minds. First, everyone has a God-given talent. And as indicated by our university mission, use your talents to change the world in a positive way, especially for others, one life at a time. Second, life is full of challenges and opportunities, peaks and valleys. But never forget that it is not the temporary setbacks and the demanding circumstances that will define who you are, but rather how you react to those circumstances when they happen. That is what will determine or define who you are. Think about it. Whenever you are in a valley and it's challenging, the only place you can go is up. But you have to decide, and I'm not going to dig myself deeper down, but I want to go up to the mountain. So, challenges and opportunities would arise, but your reaction will determine how that propels you forward. And finally, remember that selfless significance is the best way to be successful. What do I mean by that? Whatever happens to you happens to people around you. So be humble and be grateful for all that you have, because on your worst days, when you think the world is not friendly with you and everything is crashing on you, remember that someone will prefer to be you on that day. Your worst case scenario will actually be something that someone wants to be like. So think about that. Those are the 3 thoughts I'm leaving with you. So on behalf of Millersville University, I salute you, my special class, my colleagues with whom I started Millersville. You are going to always remain special to me because we came here together, but I'm not living with you. Remember your roots with pride. Keep us informed of your future accomplishments, which I know there will be a lot of. If you hear what our speaker is going to talk to you about today, think of yourself in the future and where you can be. And finally, I'm giving you an open invitation to this campus. Even if just to see Miller and Svelle on the pond, come back. We want you back here. This will always remain your home. Stay connected to Millersville. And I wish you Godspeed and abundant success in your future endeavors. Congratulations. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce today's commencement speaker, Mr. Kevin Mahoney. Mr. Mahoney is the Chief Executive Officer of the University of Pennsylvania Health System. He has been with UPHS for more than 25 years and has served as the CEO for almost 3 years. Kevin and his wife, Pamela, are both graduates of Millersville State College, and we are proud of them. Mr. Mahoney's operational portfolio at Penn Medicine has included information technology, strategic planning, the primary care network, human resources, and capital planning. He has led several transformative construction projects which have expanded and enhanced Penn Medicine's clinical care, teaching, and research missions. Before joining UPHS, Mr. Mahoney served as Vice President for Johnson's and Higgins, where he provided leadership to the health group. He also served as Vice President for Administration for 9 years at the Bryn Mawr Hospital and as Director of Administrative Services for Episcopal Hospital for 3 years. And he directs the development and construction of a new $1.5 billion hospital, the Pavilion, on Penn Medicine's West Philadelphia campus. It will house inpatient care for the Abramson Cancer Center, heart and vascular medicine and surgery, neurology and neurosurgery, as well as the new emergency department. I can continue talking about Mr. Mahoney's accomplishments, but without further ado, please join me in welcoming our own Mr. Kevin Mahoney.
Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you to Mr. Warfel and the Council of Trustees, President Woomba, Provost Gasparich, Dean Schultz, faculty and staff, proud parents, friends, and family. But most of all, congratulations to the Millersville University class of 2022. Welcome to this truly amazing day. Welcome to this day of celebration. Welcome to this day when we salute you for your resilience and perseverance, for you're the class that succeeded despite COVID. You overcame, you pushed forward, so welcome to your graduation day. Also, welcome to your liminal day. You're sitting there and saying, okay, I get celebration, I get graduation, all the above, don't quite get liminal. Stay tuned because I'm going to fill you in. 41 years ago this month, I sat in this very gymnasium and received my diploma. I remember the pride on my parents' faces. I remember my girlfriend's smile and embrace. But for sure, I do not remember the commencement speaker's message. So I have a pretty low bar, since most of you won't remember my words. But if you give me 10 minutes, I'll do my best to share an old man's secrets. When describing architecture, Winston Churchill famously said, "We shape our buildings, and afterwards they shape us." I'm going to steal that line and apply it to today. We shaped our time at Millersville, and after graduation, and throughout our lives, Millersville shapes us. This place, Millersville, our alma mater, shaped me. I arrived on a far different campus in 1977. Pam and I were remarking at no more Burroughs, no more Lenhart. The food looks a lot better in the dining hall. It's an amazingly transformed place, but the heart of Millersville is still here. But when I arrived in the fall of '77, I was confident, but I was woefully unprepared for the challenges of college. But I felt invincible and sure thought I understood the world. It was a pretty simple formula: have fun, graduate, why sweat it, it's all going to work out. As an example, in March of my spring semester, 3 Mile Island started to melt down just 26 miles away. We were ordered to evacuate the campus. Did I evacuate? I should have gone to the College of Science. I'm like, can't get that bad. We're going to stay with my friends and play softball and have a great time. If this was a text message right now, you'd be putting that shaking my head emoji into the speech. It's hard to believe that I was that naive. So it also shouldn't surprise you that when I finished my freshman year, my grade point average is 1.98. I often go on to tell everyone that I made the dean's list, but it was a letter, I think it was from computer science and Mr. Steger saying, you know, you got to get that up a little bit or you can't come back. However, that summer after my freshman year, my life changed through 3 things. The first was I ran into a mentor. So for all you who've heard about mentors, you've thought about mentors, I don't really need one. They're critically important, and they come at sneaky times. And mine came at a sneaky time. His name was Bill Rouse. Mr. Rouse is famous in Philadelphia, for those of you from the eastern part. We never would put a building up taller than City Hall, so the entire skyline stopped at 40 stories. Pretty plain vanilla facilities. Everything was pretty much the same. Mr. Rouse came along and said, is that a rule? No, it's just more like a guideline. And he bellowed. He was a big man, and he went on to say, if it's just a guideline, ignore it and do the right thing and have some vision. And his vision was that he was going to turn this cornfield that just the fall before my friends and I had been hunting pheasant. I'm going to turn this into an office park. And people are going to live in the suburbs and they're going to work in the suburbs. And I said, no, Mr. Rouse, they sleep in the suburbs, they take the train into Philadelphia. He said, Coven, that's not a rule, that's just a guideline. I want you to cut this field because I'm going to put up a tent and have an open house for my suburban park. The second thing then, so the first was vision and pick a mentor, and I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to keep your ears open because I had no idea that Mr. Rouse was going to be a mentor in my life. The second thing that happened, though, was while I was cutting that field, besides not being a very good student, I was apparently not a very good tractor driver either because I fell off the tractor, under the tractor, and the tractor ran over me. And I ended up in the hospital for a long time. But I grew up in that hospital, which could have been a tragedy turned into a fantastic blessing. Everybody in that hospital wanted me to get better, the doctors, the nurses, the techs, but even the person delivering the food, the physical therapist, they all wanted me to get better. And for a 19-year-old self-absorbed person to all of a sudden have these angels who wanted me to get better was remarkable. Again, getting back to I wasn't that great a student, I couldn't go back and become a doctor, so I went on to become a CEO because that wasn't that hard. But I left there wanting to work in a hospital, and I left there knowing I can take care of so many more people than being a doctor, because if I can get a workforce pulling together as a team using science, we can take care of a lot of people. The third thing that happened to me that year was by far the most important. Now healed from my accident, I came back to campus to visit my friends, the same guys we were playing softball with. Naturally, we ended up at Roberts. I think it's now Jack's. It was November 10th, 1978, and as I walked into that bar, I walked into a world that from that day forward would include my wife, Pam. It was truly love at first sight, and we've been together ever since. And I often tell everybody what God couldn't do in the tractor accident, he sent Pam to make sure I would stay on the straight and narrow for the rest of my life. We went to Ganser. I made the dean's list many times after that, now the good dean's list, but it was because of Pam. Of all the gifts I received in Millersville, none was more important than Pam. We would sit on the steps in Macomsey. We'd sit by the pond. We'd sit in Gordonier. We'd sit down at Rock Hill Tavern in Slackwater. But while we were sitting, Millersville was shaping us. Because we were talking about the future. We were talking about our classes. We were talking about people. As I stand here today, I can hear not only my wife's voice, but also other Millersville voices. Professor Clarence Jefferson Randolph, Terry Madonna, David Ostrovsky, Paul Nichols, voices that shaped my mind, voices of the housekeepers in old boroughs, who taught me life's not always fair. Here were these wonderful people, just as smart as I was. They didn't get a chance to go to college, and they were cleaning my room, my dorm. And they would scold me. They would tell me to grow up. They too shaped me, but they taught me to look at the world through their eyes, not just mine. Millersville made me who I am today, and I'll be forever grateful. So please, if you could, I didn't get a Mother's Day present yet, so a quick wave and shout to my wife, best friend, mother of our 3 children, a new grandson, proud member of the Millersville class of 1982, my wife, Pam Kane. Millersville also shaped my family as my sister graduated in 1984 and my brother Glenn followed in 1991. It is a great place, and you look back 41 years from now, when you're up here as a CEO of a large company, or as a scientist, or as a poet, as an artist, you'll stand up here and say, Millersville shaped me. Now you know how Millersville shaped me in unexpected ways, but it's also shaped you. I encourage you. It has shaped you to be a force for good, and everyone in this stadium, everyone in this state, it's a tough time across the globe. Everyone needs you to be a force for good. We also need you to write a better story. For 4 years, maybe some of you a little bit longer, Millersville's been shaping you to be a force for good and to write a better story. Easy to say, hard to do. But let me give you a story of how it happened. When I walked onto the campus in 1996, I met a good friend, Dr. Carl June. Carl had just gotten out of the Navy. He was a doctor down at the Naval Academy. He's a scientist. He wanted to, when he graduated from the Naval Academy, cure cancer. But the Navy said, we want you to study weapons of mass destruction and how the body can survive a germ warfare attack. So Carl studied while he was in the Navy the immune system. When he arrived at Penn, he said, I'm going to learn everything I learned about the immune system to cure cancer. I'm going to learn the body to kill cancer cells, not just to kill viruses, not just to kill colds, but to turn the immune system, attack the cancer in your body, and cure the patient. 10 years ago, Emily Whitehead from State College, just 7 years old, also arrived on the Penn campus, terrified, down to her last chance. And her last chance was an experimental drug built by the scientist Carl June. A brave, brave young lady, a family that believed that she could write a better story. Emily received the experimental drug, and today is 10 years cancer-free and is applying to college. I'm doing my best to get her to come to Millersville, but she has other ideas, mostly around film and telling her story through the arts. It's incredible when you meet these people to think they were just like us going through college. And yet, Carl will definitely win the Nobel Prize someday. Emily will go on to live a long and fruitful life. So I encourage you to be that force for good and to write a better story. If you're going to do that, you have to have faith in science. You should also believe in God, I do. But it's science that will prevent the pending disaster of climate change. Science that will create vaccines that will allow us to hug each other, especially our grandkids. Science can cure cancer and heart disease. Challenge conventional norms, just like Carl June did, just like Bill Rouse did when he told me the story about William Penn's hat. Just because things have been that way doesn't mean they have to be that way. And you've been taught to challenge those norms. Believe and be optimistic, and most importantly, never ever marginalize another human being. Our country is divided. Our country is afraid. We need to embrace each other, embrace each other's DNA, embrace each other's, the color of your skin. It doesn't matter. We need to embrace each other because we can't be divided going into this very difficult time. Now let's get back to liminal day. In architecture, there's a concept called a liminal space. It's derived from the Latin word for threshold, and it's when you go into a physical space that is entering you into another space. So a hallway, a foyer, a parking lot, the atrium at Park City Mall, those are all liminal spaces. It's a transition from here to there. They can be exciting times. They can also be scary times. One of the most eventful liminal days in your life is when you got your driver's license. You were excited. You were going to be free. You could get going. Your parents were scared to death. And truth be told, when you're going around some of those corners initially, you were probably scared too. Today is your liminal day. It can be unsettling. It can also be the most optimistic time. I would encourage you, as you step across the graduation threshold and into the liminal space after graduation, it may seem comfortable. It may seem very different. But either way, please push forward, because forward is the only way we're going to succeed. The other old man's secret is just to number your pages so you don't lose your spot. Everybody hang in there. We're almost done. Give a wave and a shout to my wife. No, we already did that. Today, as you cross over the threshold from college student to college graduate, please keep the following in mind as you move forward from today to your future destination. Keep an open mind, but also a humble spirit. Never stop learning. Embrace the good people in and around your life. They're often trying to help you reach that destination. Do not be afraid. You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway of the future, but all we really truly have is what's in front of us today. Make the best decision you can make today. The rest will follow. If you're fortunate like me, it'll follow to a great place, but it was always a crooked path. Don't overanalyze where you're headed. Make the decisions based upon the best thing you have in front of you. There will be fearful moments. There will also be moments of love. Only you get to decide how much you'll let fear come into your life. And I encourage you, just do the best you can, move forward, because life's a great thing and it is going to work out. Instead of trying to make your life perfect, give yourself the freedom to try an adventure, to try something totally different that you've never done before. Finally, love should be your North Star. If you get confused, go back to love. It'll guide you through these liminal spaces in your life. I will finish where I began by offering my heartfelt congratulations and to share my wish that the foundation you received here will be as impactful in your life as it has been in mine. It's time for you to go write your own stories, to do the unexpected. Don't let anything hold you back, because the future is bright for the Millersville class of 2022, and it's yours for the taking. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Mahoney, for an inspiring address. It is now my honor to introduce Mr. Michael Warfel, Chairman of the Council of Trustees, to present the honorary degree.
Thank you, President Wuba. Millersville University confers an honorary degree, our symbol of highest achievement, on those individuals who have made outstanding contributions to the welfare and well-being of the community at large. Such degrees are granted to recognize individual creativity, distinguished service, significant scholarship, and other individual accomplishments, whether in the arts, humanities, sciences, the professions, public service, or in service to mankind. The recipient shall exemplify the quality of character and achievement representative of the high ideals and the values of Millersville University. As such, the recipient will serve as an inspiration and a role model to the entire academic community. Today, Millersville University is pleased to honor one such distinguished individual. At this time, I ask that Mr. Kevin Mahoney, who we just met, come forward for the presentation of the degree, Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Mr. Mahoney.
Upon the authority vested in me by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania through the Board of Governors and the Council of Trustees, I confer the Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Congratulations, Dr. Mahoney, as you receive the university's recognition for your outstanding career.
As a special note to today's ceremony, we wish to acknowledge the commissioning of our ROTC lieutenants. Will those lieutenants present please rise to be recognized? Are there any here today? Maybe not. In addition, there are a number of veterans, National Guard reservists, and first responders who are graduating today. We applaud their dedication to their studies and service to our country. Will all the graduating veterans, reservists, and first responders present please stand to be recognized? Millersville University students are awarded honors in 3 categories: departmental honors, the University Honors College, and University Honors. In order to graduate from the University Honors College program, a student must not only complete designated honors courses, but also a thesis and maintain a grade point average of 3.35 in their honors courses. The highest earned academic honor the university can bestow is summa cum laude, which is a grade point average of 3.95 to 4.0. For a full list of students graduating with university honors, please consult your printed program and you will hear that designation as they are announced. We take a moment during today's ceremony to acknowledge the life of one of your fellow graduates. Matthew Gingrich met an untimely passing before his graduation at Millersville University. Matthew was a psychology major and would have graduated today with a Bachelor of Arts degree from the College of Education and Human Services. Millersville University recognizes Mr. Gingrich's family who are in attendance today. It is the hope of the graduates, students, faculty, staff, and administration that when Mr. Gingrich's family thinks about this day, they will find comfort in knowing that Matthew made a difference in the lives of many at Millersville University. Accepting the degree on Matthew's behalf is his sister, Katie Gingrich, who is also graduating today, I now ask Katie to come forward to accept this degree.
Now we move to the part that we've all been waiting for. The undergraduate candidates present for the College of Science and Technology have taken all of their examinations and are being recommended for their degrees by the faculty of their schools. Will all candidates now stand? Upon the authority vested in me by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania through the Board of Governors and the Council of Trustees, I confer upon you the appropriate baccalaureate and associate degree together with all of its associated rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Congratulations. You may be seated.
I now invite Dr. Del Ray Schultz, Interim Dean of the College of Science and Technology, who will present the graduates of this college as they arrive on stage.
Will the marshals please bring forward the graduates from the College of Science and Technology so that they now may be recognized.
Ian Russell Blake. Caitlin Ann Conrad, magna cum laude. Amber Mauger. Grace Ann Howell. William Eichhorst, magna cum laude. Yasminda Omari Reichenauer. Xavier Pagan. Jacob Manubai. Olivia Keenan. Evan David Jones, cum laude. Ryan Paul Weiss.
Nicholas James Dudas.
Abigail M. Blankmeyer. Timothy R. Garner, magna cum laude. Nicholas Charles Montserrat. Nicole Lee Henry. Joseph J. Martin. Brett Chandler Searles. Zachary Stephen Van Gordon, cum laude. Nolan Harrison Chink, magna cum laude. Austin Michael Fry. Jacob J. Connelly. David Luke Rich. Michael Vincent Rossi, cum laude. Karina Marie Morales. Monica R. Stoner. Paul Wayne Woolery, Jr. Michael P. Simpson. Casey Bookmoyer, cum laude. Connor J. Nisley, summa cum laude. Michael Patrick Scross, summa cum laude. Marissa Trippas, magna cum laude. Alex Klucher, magna cum laude. Andrew Mastroianni. Catherine M. Whitaker, Curtis J. Kane. Jonah Theodore Barney. Nate Klansick, cum laude. Aaron Joseph Ganarich. Jonathan Schwartz. Joshua Keen Carney, cum laude. Hunter E. Little, cum laude. Alexis Catherine Staniak. John Joseph McLean IV. Paul William Beaver. Laurel Sullivan Blanchard, cum laude.
Erica Widener.
Leah Ann Barrett. Connor M. Healy. Colin James Coggins. John Philip Landis, cum laude. Andrew Zachary Martin, magna cum laude. Catherine E. Glaviano. Erica K. Harrington. Kelsey E. German. Lee H. Charter, cum laude. Tyler Lee Bates.
Cole Fitch.
Cade Eugene Diefendorfer. Dawson H. Ike, cum laude. Emily L. Parker. Adam Short. Anthony Jose Dengue. Ryan William Brown, magna cum laude. Brandon James Wonder. Jordan Groff, magna cum laude. Nathan Roman Myers. Stefan Gligorovich, cum laude. Evan Hanselman. Dawson Chase Riley Cresswell. Connor J. Field, cum laude. Jada Marie Brown. Shermeen Asif Mohammed. Forrest R. Bose. Trinity Young, summa cum laude. Kelsey Heckert, magna cum laude. Emily Hoffman, magna cum laude. Riley Marie Violet Robinson. Michael J. Wilson. Simon Edward Scholkopf. Cameron Charlene Kuppenhaver. Wesley House. Emily J. D'Alessandro, magna cum laude. Sarah Leilani Smith. Melissa Torch. Haley Decker. Frankie Marciel Melendez. Christina Anastasia Gavala. Roland A. Miller. Matthew Hamilton Tobias, cum laude. Stephen J. Sweeney, magna cum laude. William Jacobus Odadjis. Katie Gingrich, magna cum laude. Angeline Bautista Cabrera. Abigail Perkins, cum laude. Sarah Stinchcomb, summa cum laude. Bryce Bobbitz. Ryan Jesse McVeigh. Max Henry. Brendan Kovetsky. Samuel Urban. Sean Powers. Brianna R. Brennan, cum laude. Kristen Marie Maurer. Robert Joseph Kamadari, magna cum laude. Carson Gabner. Brandon Arbaugh. Saloma Jade Lentz. Cameron Danielle Gonteski, cum laude. Kirsten Lindsay Gillespie. Joseph Matthew Pisciota. Vincent P. Reisenwitz. Matthew William Bozelli. Kairif N. Dandy. Jake Alexander Stoffman. Andrew Yang. Chandler Garcia. Mackenzie A. Stallone, cum laude. Cassie Blythe. Paige Mancini. Lauren Elizabeth Downey, cum laude. Emily L. McComsey, cum laude. Catherine Riley, summa cum laude. Olivia R. Hess. Allison M. Leonard, magna cum laude. Samantha I. Burdell. Hannah Brooks Miller, magna cum laude. Lucia Martin, cum laude. Cassandra Therese Castaldi, magna cum laude. Chloe Patricia Snyder, cum laude. Maggie Rose Ruggiero. Brooke Cecilia Reitza. Cameron Todd. Rachel Noel Simon. Janelle Marie Baker. Christopher Allen Beausoleil. David Clark Jakimowitz, magna cum laude. Alex Stone, magna cum laude. Ben Morin. Tanner Michael. Maxwell Moyer. Emma Bokenkamp. Jason Allen Zerby. Tyler J. Ziegler, cum laude. Jeremiah Schillingberg, magna cum laude. Jessica Robb. Jason Heitman. Luke William Diebel. Samuel R. Hazlett. Alexander T. Holman, magna cum laude. Cody J. Zook, magna cum laude. Michael Anthony Wallens. Jack Waldenberger, cum laude. Dane A. Koch, summa cum laude. Mohammed Abdul Hadi Hussein Wali Badri. Hayden Falfus. Caitlin Rose Musante. Olivia Ann Bernardini. Hannah Ray Robb. Vanda Renee Rodkap. Anna Marie Reineberg, cum laude. Nicole M. Hausiel Hart. Gina Salerni, magna cum laude. Sarah Tonjes. Max Harris, summa cum laude. Amy Keegan Nicholson. Nicholas D. Provazo. Brianna P. Smith, cum laude. Lauren Olivia Sloniker. Santiago Ramos, magna cum laude. Carlos Martinez Lucas. Dustin James Horn. David Petrosian, cum laude. Alex H. Lim. Justin T. Co. Swineford. Christopher Jared Longo. Brooke Nicole Bowman, cum laude. Zoe Elizabeth Chapman. Aubrey Stewart, magna cum laude. Jonathan Halpern Frank. Niharika Aurora, cum laude. Sarah Patricia Solomon. Callista Logan Paulino. Travis Zering. Abigail Atkinson. Nicole M. Lee. Carrie B. Martin. Emily Marie Tomlinson. Justine R. Termini. Landon Mitchell Kurtz. Benjamin I. Wise. Conan A. Judy. Heidi Patterson. Megan Alexis Clayton. Savannah Brooke Bell. Peter Samuel Harkins. Zachary Truskowski. Matthew Ryan Valentine. Avery A. Dvorak. Joseph Heiner. Todd Robert Mahady. Seth James Albert Harbaugh. Ryan Allen Kokowski. Kevin T. Constantine, magna cum laude. Ryan Martin. Ian Smith, cum laude. Kenneth A. Miller. Robert George Kiesel. Kayla Grimm. Megan Christine Nolan. Madison N. Potts. Daniel Yost, summa cum laude. Joseph Karanja. Amir Yusuf Fahim. Benjamin M. Weaver. Jonathan Wilkins, cum laude. Drew Walliser, magna cum laude. Wusman Sige. Casey Jared Hennings. Dylan J. Rader. Zachariah T. Sarmer, magna cum laude. Kelly Swegan. Gracelyn Koval. Alexander Vladimir Tates. Hannah N. Grix, summa cum laude. Devin Winkleman. Brianna Progar, cum laude. Ramy Abraham Ferreira. Grace Elaine McCammett, cum laude. September Ann Fremenek, cum laude. Misty N. Matezik, magna cum laude. Kara Lynn Steffi. Alyssa Gantz. Sean Wolk. Casey Curtis. Matthew Russo.
Jose Antonio Corona Mata.
Bethany Smyrna Jimenez. Jean Mahia Acuna. Regina George Alsaka. Elijah J. Crisden, magna cum laude. Joseph P. Keller. Anthony Bruno Cadaspoti. Chad Christopher Ray. Ryan Soltasic. William J. Plianthos. Julia Marie Reist. Sarah Nicole Coleman. Alexander Balagurak. Zachary Antonio Rivera. Haley Paige Bucci. Logan Vandewey. Fred Shield. Peter J. Marinelli. Cameron Joseph Sidorko. Isaac E. Rifa. Matthew Young, magna cum laude. Amelia G. Spanier. Catherine Tate Watson, magna cum laude. Arpin A. Akbar, magna cum laude. Domer Kent. Madison Christina Holmes. Emily B. Dickens. Jean Zhang, cum laude. Alan G. Snavely. Dominic Durant Russell. Noah Graham Williams. Rebecca Ann Scheinert. Victoria Ann Schmidt. Renee Marie Pogrebnik, cum laude. Jaslyn Hernandez. Tracy Chow. Noradine Bahani. Sarah E. George. Sayaka R. Kosha, cum laude. China Marie Gubbings. Jeffrey Paul Flynn Bukowski. Bola H. Grimes, cum laude. Benika Joshi, cum laude. Asmita Shrestha, magna cum laude. Junior Pierre. Colby J. Christian. Maria Glebche. Chase Merkavich. Owen Patrick Wallace, magna cum laude. Brianna Patricia Woods. Jocelyn Rodriguez Bello. Gitamadze T. Hailu, cum laude. Zhang Jin. Stephen Adeyemi.
And that concludes the graduates from the College of Science and Technology.
Once again, congratulations to all our graduates. You may reposition your tassels now. So on behalf of more than 73,000 Millersville University alumni, it is my extreme honor to be the first to officially welcome you to the Millersville University Alumni Association. Each year, the Millersville University Alumni Association has the pleasure of welcoming a new generation of alumni into the fold. It is our hope that you will keep us informed of the significant developments in your life, of which we are sure there will be many, as you continue to make your alma mater proud. Congratulations and welcome to the alumni family. At this point, I wish to express sincere appreciation to Ms. Slot, Ms. Fair, Ms. Morales, to the marshals, Dr. Sanuto and the University Wind Ensemble, and other program participants for their role in today's ceremony. I also wish all of the mothers in the audience a heartfelt Happy Mother's Day. And for me, it is even more special because today is my mother's birthday. But there is someone here with us, a graduating student, who today is her birthday. I would like her to stand up for us to give her a big round of applause. There she is. Happy birthday. Now let us also remember the women and men who are serving our country throughout the world and who are away from their family and friends. I wish all of you gathered here today a safe journey home. And now, kindly refer to the last page of your program as we conclude the ceremony with the singing of the first and third verses of the Alma Mater, led by Miss Sarah Madonna, class of 2022, and performed by the Millersville University Wind Ensemble. Will the audience please rise and remain standing until the recessional has ended? Thank you.
Millersville, we sing to thee hymns of praise and loyalty, sons and daughters flesh and bone, follow 'neath the black and gold. Here we fight for truth and right, shield and buckler ever bright. Rich in truth we'll ever be. Millersville, we sing to
Good afternoon and congratulations to all of our graduates. At this time, we ask that you please make your way to the exits. Again, please make your way to the exits. Our next ceremony opens for seating and event staff need to reset the gymnasium. We also ask you to please clear your vehicles from campus parking lots so that the next ceremony's guests can park. We thank you for your consideration and cooperation as we get ready to welcome the next class of graduates. Enjoy and celebrate today. Again, we ask you please make your way to the exits and make sure your vehicles are out of the parking lot so that the staff and police can prepare for the next ceremony. Thank you. I have probably sweat 5 pounds off today so far.
They're all going, so they can't get it any faster. We'll have a stampede.